Hello Taurus, and welcome to the weekly love reading for couples from the 13th to the 19th of February. Taurus, I have pre-shuffled your cards. I'm ready to go. Before we get started, quick astrological update. We have a full moon in the sign of Virgo on the 19th or the 20th, depending on where you are in the world. This full moon, if the year has felt a little bit heavy for you getting started, you still had a lot of emotional stuff going on, then you will see that cease after this full moon, okay? It's perfect time to release and let go. But let's get started with your reading. At the bottom of the deck, you come into this time period with the Princess of Wands, or the Page of Wands as known in traditional tarot. Now, the pages are all messengers, right? They bring us a message about something, and typically I see wands as it represents creativity for me. Basically anything that you do that brings money into the world, study, your purpose, right? And for me, when it comes to your partnership, I feel like you could be getting messages from maybe you've applied for a job, maybe you're actually looking to move and you've applied for a new property, something to do with property, because I have a few cards here that show me that. Maybe you and your partner are wanting to move house. And if that's the case, then I want to tell you, you will be successful. But I think, if I remember correctly, your last reading was about letting certain arguments go. And Taurus, one of the amazing things about your sign is that you are so incredibly loyal and dedicated, but you also are very stubborn and you can have a bit of a temper. So sometimes you find it hard to let things go when people have wronged you. Equally, you don't communicate how you feel. So if this is resonating with you and that's still an energy that's carrying on, I'll put the link at the end of this video. Maybe watch that and get some whatever advice I gave to you then. But maybe it's time to, apologize for a few things if that's still energy that's carrying over. Now, pages can also represent children, so you could have a child, a younger fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. But for me, I really feel like this is a message of something coming in. So something to do with work, creativity, maybe it's a promotion, maybe it's a home, something like that. You start off this time period just before Valentine's Day with the Empress coupled with the Six of Wands. Now, the Empress does represent your sign. It is a card of fertility, depending on what other cards are around it. But I typically see this card when coupled with the Six of Wands and the Page of Wands as your energy as you're coming into this reading as creativity, abundance, right? So literally birthing something new into existence. So maybe you've got a side project that you've been wanting to work on for a little while and now you're finally getting it off the ground. Maybe you work in a company and you've wanted a promotion and now you're going for it. It's a really good time of year for you to do that, Taurus, particularly as Uranus starts to shift into your sign out of Aries. So it's big energy shift for you. And for me, this is a fantastic combination, okay? The Empress couples with the Six of Wands is victory in all new creative pursuits, all things that you're creating. Now, I'm not sure what sign your partner is. In terms of this reading, it is a general reading, so take what resonates. But I do have a Capricorn, Pisces, air sign, so Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, maybe a younger fire sign. But I'm really getting like, regardless of however it is, you're just so clear cut and so focused and so driven on your purpose at the moment, or whatever this project is that you want to bring into you. And the Six of Wands speaks about success, right? It speaks about actually being successful in whatever it is that you put out into the universe. So, Taurus, I feel like if you and your partner have been looking for a new home, then it very well could come up for you within the next week. Or you could maybe just hear that your offer's been accepted, or maybe the home that your dream home actually comes on the market, something that you've always driven past, and looked at. I'm getting a lot of stuff related to the home, which doesn't surprise me at all. You're one of the signs that likes to be at home and is really comfortable being at home. A word of caution though, as I said, as we're coming to that Virgo full moon, full moons are all about closing a cycle, right? Releasing and letting go. anything that you're still holding on to will be swept away pretty quickly, because you have some heavy energy here, some heavy players. You have the Hanged Man coupled with the Ten of Wands. So anything that you're personally holding on to when it comes to your relationship, and this is what I was saying before about arguments or stuff that you've held on, speak now, forever hold your peace, okay? Now is the time to get it off your chest and tell your partner how you feel before you begin this new cycle together, okay? At the moment, we're in a waxing period as we get to the full moon, and then we go through a waning period before the new moon. Now is the time to kind of speak your truth, okay? And it's got the card of Capricorn, bondage, the devil at the base of it. So I feel like maybe this is where you haven't been honest about what you feel towards your partner. If it is to do with the home, maybe it's about the deposit or something to do with money. It could also just be that you feel overwhelmed, right? You could also just be a little bit tired trying to juggle everything, Taurus, because I see you being very career-driven, very career-driven. Of course, as I always say, like be careful in how you approach this subject and try and choose your words very carefully. Maybe even rehearse it in your head, because the Queen of Swords energy is someone that can be quite cutting with their words. Like, we've all done it. We've all said things in the heat of the moment and in anger and in angst. But just be very careful with your words and how you communicate, because I feel like even though what you're saying is true, sometimes your delivery, when you've held on to stuff for so long and you've held on to pent up frustration for so long, and frustration is the right word, then it's like you explode. And then sometimes I think you say mean things that you don't necessarily mean. That's one of the shadow sides of being a Taurus, I guess. But the beauty of that also is exactly that beauty, creation. You know, the Empress represents your sign for a reason. She is all nurturing, all caring, all loving, and that's, like I said, one of the best qualities about you. And you coming up in your own couples reading this week shows me that you're very much in your element, Taurus. So I'm not too worried about this energy, this Hanged Man and this Devil. It just shows me seeing things from a different point of view and letting go of things that have restricted you or held you back. It could be you're finally getting that shift so you can move. Maybe where you've been living has been holding you back, and that's been draining your energy, and you've been fighting as a couple because of it. Maybe that's why you're waiting so desperately on getting this news coming in. And I just want to show you this. I don't like to go too deep in these weeklies, but you do have the Chariot at the bottom underneath that as well. And this is all about forward movement for me. This is another card of movement, of home, that kind of thing. As you go into the next week as a couple, you have the Prince of Wands, the Knight of Wands. So the Knights do represent people for me, generally younger, but they can also represent like an action kind of feeling. So I feel like as soon as the Knight of Swords is the fastest moving knight, the Knight of Wands is just behind. But I feel like for you, if this is about a creative endeavor, then you're finally going to have the money to get it off the ground, or you finally got the funding, and you just need to hold out that little bit longer, and your partner's like right by your side in the whole process. If it is about something to do with work, equally they're by your side. And if it is about a house move or trying to restart, then I feel like they've got your back. Okay, Taurus, this is all on you. So it's all on you, speaking your truth, telling your partner exactly how they feel, and then building anew so that you can move forward, because this is gorgeous energy, Taurus. Beautiful.